good morning, good afternoon or good evening depending on when you are watching this. This is the Grianaig Creations podcast channel, but this is not a typical podcast episode. This is going to be a roundup of my thoughts and my purchases for Perth Festival of Yarn 2022. My name is Kirsty, my pronouns are they, them, and I am coming to you from a really overcast and chilly Paisley in Scotland. Now I'm happy about the weather because I can finally comfortably wear some woolens. So I am wearing my Love Note sweater, I'm wearing my hat that I made for Perth, and yeah. I love this time of year. It's the cosy season, as I call it. Some people call it autumn, some people call it fall. I just call it the cosy season because you can just get all coodied up and blankets are your best friends, hot drinks are great, and of course your multiple layers of woolens. I went out the house yesterday with a different top on that's like a shop bought woolen and my exploration station shawl, and I forgot how much I loved that thing. So it is finally cozy season and it makes me extremely happy. But anyway, we didn't come here to talk about the weather. I am going to be inserting footage and photos throughout this video. I didn't do too much close-ups of stalls this year. The day really got away from me, if I'm being completely honest. And I done a walk around on my GoPro with my gimbal, but my gimbal is really playing up. So I think I either need to get a new one or figure out a different way of doing my walk around that I like to do. And I also decided to take my really good camera with me. So when I say my good camera, I mean my DSLR. So I studied photography in college. I done 3 years and I have a HND. I could have gone on to do a degree, but the degree was like 70% theory and only 20% practical work, and that's just not for me. I don't do well reading and writing theses and stuff like that, so I called it quits at the HND level. And yeah, I really loved doing like proper photography side of it and getting some snaps. I took a specific lens with me that would blur the background and kind of get like a lot of detail, so I'm happy with the photos. Some people might not think they are good for a festival, so keep your opinions on the photos to yourself unless they're positive, because I don't really care for negative comments. If you don't like it, that's totally fine, but I like them, so that's the main thing. Anyway, I plan on kind of like interspersing that footage, so I've got some footage of stalls, I've got some photos of stalls and of close-ups of yarns, I've got some photos of the actual dyers and the stall holders themselves, which was really lovely that people allowed me the permission to take their photos. And yeah, I'm also going to be showing off all of my purchases. So I did splurge, but I feel like Perth is the one festival that I actually go to, and I also done overtime for this, so I deserve to have treated myself. Anyway, I'm not going to show these off in any particular order. Like, I'm not going to walk around, like do the walkthrough that I done and who I purchased like what from in the specific order. I am literally just going to pick things up as they come to hand, and we'll talk about the purchases, the bakers, that kind of thing. But let me just grab a quick drink. My tea is now past the optimal temperature, which is fine. It's not cold yet, but it's definitely past the optimal best temperature for tea. Okay, so we're going to kick off with... Oh, I threw the bag away, didn't I? Not for a bad reason, but because recording didn't go well. previously. Okay, so let's start with the bag. I purchased this gorgeous bag from So Yarnylicious. I had seen this on their Instagram in the days leading up to Perth, and I don't know if I think they just put like one bag of each style out, because this was the only one in this fabric. But I assume like once I had purchased it, they maybe put another one out. So this is really gorgeous, like Halloween fabric. It doesn't really scream Halloween to me. So there's a bat, a spider and a skull. I'm not a big fan of spiders, but in this form it's okay. And then on the inside it's just plain pink, and there's a popper with a wristband as well. And I've used this quite a lot with it on my wrist and knitting, so that's nice. And at the moment it is holding a hat, quite a big hat, because it's going to be either slouchy or a double folded over brim. And I have had in this bag 2 hat projects that are quite bulky, and I couldn't knit with the yarn in the bag, but it was able to store 2 projects in it quite comfortably, if a little cramped. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy this bag. I think it's absolutely lovely. It's one of the smallest bags I think I own. I normally prefer quite a roomy bag, but I got this one and I don't regret buying it at all. Okay, so next up, the hat project in that bag is actually by the maker I'm about to show off, and that is Caithness Yarns. Flora of Caithness Yarns is a friend. I did not buy though because she's a friend. I bought because I like her yarn. I got a sock blank, and I also got one that was a sock blank but was being done so it is a gradient. So this gradient goes from like a bluey grey to a darkish pinky purple into a much brighter but not quite neon pink, and then that fades into a lighter pink to a light purple, and then into a nice deep purple at the end there. So if I do a close up you can see all the colours. So you've got the bluey grey in the middle, and then it works its way out. So that's really gorgeous, and this one is Gradient Cake 004. So the specs on this and the sock blank are the same. So it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 425 meters per cake and sock blank. So that's the gradient, and then the sock blank is gorgeous when it's opened out. I didn't open it out in like at the festival. I quite like the surprise of a sock blank sometimes. So this is my sock blank all folded out. So you can see this end here, there, my middle finger is moving, is quite dark, and then it's always very different. Like that's what I love about sock blanks, is they never match, and I love that. Like some people might hate that, but I really like it. It makes for sisters, not twins, if you're doing socks. So let's quickly and semi-neatly try and roll this back up. And squeeze it into its label. There we go. So that is my purchases from Atthis Yarns. We're just going to throw everything on the couch. And then I went to Midwinter Yarns, who was at the Scottish Wool Producers Showcase, and I fell in love with the skein on their table. And it wasn't until we left that I was just like, oh darn, I didn't go back. I didn't go back and get it. And it was a skein of their DK in this gorgeous kind of, not quite the colour of my Love Note, but very similar limeish green. And they had it on their stall this time, and I didn't buy it. I need to, when I can purchase more yarn, because I'm on a bit of a spending ban now, I really need to go onto their website and just buy this. But I fell in love with a colour very similar to my t-shirt. So Not 100% sure which one I'd pick because they're both beautiful. But it would definitely be for a hat. That's the thing. I'm in a bit of a hat kick right now, in case you couldn't tell. But what I did buy, now there's 4 other skeins of the grey, so bear that in mind. I bought a sweater's quantity for a colour work sweater. And this yarn is, I'm going to possibly butcher this, I apologise, Tunt Garn by Svensk Alcentrum. And I got 5 of the light grey, so that would be the main body and sleeves, 1 blue, 1 purple and 1 mustard. So I think those are going to make real gorgeous sweaters. It's a very, very light grey, and it's very different from the sweaters quantity I bought. I bought a very dark grey, but I thought this would be really, really nice. And these were £6 a ball. Like, that's crazy. And you get approximately 200 metres per ball. And these are approximately also only 50 grams a ball. So this one here has had the 50 scored out and put 55. Whereas all these ones are approximately 50. So there's some where you'll get a little bit more, but I didn't see any where you got a little bit less, which was very, very good. But these were £6 a ball. So, like, if you're on a budget, that's such good, like, money's worth of yarn there. So highly recommend checking out Midwinter Yarns for this, and their own hand dyed yarn, of course, because it is gorgeous. Okay, next up we have my friend Ellen from Mrs. Lam Yarns, or Caithness Ellen. I got the Mid-Autumn Fest self-striping. This is the 100 gram skein, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 425 metres. I forgot to tell you what this one was. That's because I can't read it. Not even gonna lie. Maybe someone can... I'll need to Google Translate. But I don't even know if that is, like, information. You've got some information on the band. But it's really nice wool. I feel like there's just a little bit of lanolin in it, which is fairly normal, I'd say, for some like spun yarns like this. And that would obviously come out when you wash it. But it feels really soft, and I've got a feeling that when you do wash it, it will soften up even more and bloom, which would be really nice. Woo! Sun's come out, it's getting a bit toasty. Okay, so back to the self-striping. Like, this is gorgeous. Look at those colours. So we've got some neon pink. You know I love a bit of neon pink. A little bit of red, green, some blue. I would say like a peachy pink where it's maybe kind of like fading between colours. It's just so nice. Like, I can't wait to work this up. I might run this through the sock machine actually. I don't know if I'm going to use the full 100 grams. Yeah, this is really, really gorgeous. I love this. I have a bag on request with Ellen, so it's not like this was the only thing. So yeah, I've got I think it's about that big I'm getting on request. And it's a Grumpy Cats at Christmas, and the fabric is amazing. So Mrs. Lam Yarns, and I bought 2 skeins of this gorgeous yarn from Caithness Croft, which is bearded shield. We all love bearded shield here in this channel, don't we? And it is the Arnbeg 4-ply fingering, 70% alpaca, 30% rose, 380 meters per hank. And I got 2 because I'm thinking a really gorgeous shawl. I've been eyeing this up for the last 2, if not 3 events that I have seen John and Janet at, and I think, I'm going to be honest, I think the price put me off. So it's £22 a skein, but I'm always drawn back to it, and I just thought, you know what, I'd done overtime, I deserve to treat myself. Like, I almost wore myself into the ground, that I deserve to treat myself. And so I got 2, and I haven't decided what shawl I'm going to make yet, but I'm wanting something really nice that doesn't need structure, because this is a very drapey yarn. Something that I can just wrap myself in, and I'm thinking a long rectangle. Like, I'm not thinking like a semicircle or anything like that, I'm thinking a long rectangle. So I'll need to have a wee look to see. But this yarn is stunning, and look at that sheen as well, like, isn't that glorious? So that's the tag. And then there's John's logo down the bottom, and it's by Bearded Shield. Sorry, Becky of AMOyarn has just messaged me. So yeah, I finally done it. I finally treated myself. I'm so glad I did. Okay, so my main purchase was a sweater's quantity from Lammermuir Wool. I got it in my head after I saw them at the Wool Producer Showcase that that is what I wanted. I wanted a sweater's quantity of yarn. And they just happened to post on their Instagram that they had got a new line in. I don't want to say a new base, because it's still the same Shetland wool, I think. Well, let me see. Let's see what their post says, because surely it would be better to actually go straight to the source than making it up. Lammermuir Wool. So, they've put a post up, they had a post up on their Instagram saying, "New for Perth Festival of Yarn. I really love this new yarn. It arrived the day before their operation, so only really today managed to skein it in yarn and label it. It's so lovely. A dark grey, which comes in at 260 meters per 100 grams, and it's called Coorie because it really is a warm snuggle. Come and have a squish where it stands 30, come say hi." So, of course, I had to go and give it a squish. I checked out their website, I looked at all the other yarns that I could possibly purchase as well, and I decided that the Coorie was definitely what I wanted. So I have 7 skeins of this. I reckon I over calculated. I'm only going to show off 3, but I really reckon I over calculated a lot. But do you know what? I've been losing at Yarn Chicken quite a bit recently, and so I decided that I'd rather overestimate than underestimate. I'm so happy with it. It really is so snuggly and it's so bouncy. Like, oh, you just want this on, like, in everything. You want a sweater, you want a hat, you want a scarf. Like, I'm hoping that's focusing. So, like I read out, it is approximately 260 meters per 100 grams. It's got the weight of 12 wraps per inch. Clip, 2 2021, so last year's clippings. A soft, wool-spun, pure, fluffy Shetland wool. Each year's clip provides just enough for a limited amount of yarn produced with love. And that's another reason I got 7 skeins of it. I done the math and I reckon that 6 would have been more than enough. But because it is a small flock and it's like small batch production, I thought, you know what, best to get 7 and have maybe even a full skein left over than need just a little bit more than what I have. So I got my sweaters quantity, I'm so happy, and I'm just waiting to get a couple of projects off the needles before I really kind of take that deep dive into sweater patterns. I'm thinking something very simple. Maybe, like, see, because my West Knits Gansey style jumper, I cannot for the life of me now remember what it's called, but this one over here, because that's got like a lot of pearls in it, I think I just want something simple, mostly knits. Maybe no cables, even though I think that would lend itself really well to a cable. I don't know. But because I've got so many projects on the go right now, I'm not casting on anything big. So it's just going to have to wait. Okay, so I got talking to Fiona of Quack Yarns moons ago, and she very kindly offered to test knit one of my patterns, and I finally got the chance to meet her in person. So Fiona is from Scotland originally, but she now lives in York, so I've never had the chance to meet her until Perth. So I stopped by her stall and I had a really good natter with her, and as I stood talking I fell in love with so many skeins, but I was just like, right, okay, like, gotta limit myself here. So the first one I bought was this one, which is the chunky iron weight, and this is Summer Days, and it is 100% superwash Blueface Leicester, approximately 166 meters, and this is going to be a hat for me. But yeah, I fell in love with this one when I saw it. I thought the colours were really, really gorgeous. There's some really bright neon orange on the bottom, some bright yellow, some dark moody red, and then the green that goes into blue. I just thought it was really, really stunning. So that one's for me. And then Scott was stood with me, and I was just like, which one would you want for a hat? Because I don't knit Scott that much. Like, I really don't knit him anything. I knit my hat once, and I knit it in the wrong yarn because it was too itchy. So I saw this one, and I know how much he loves a good red. So I was just like, well, what about this? So this is, I knitted you some pastries, and it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It is a DK, and there is 225 meters. So this just reminds me of like a fire or a really gorgeous sunset. And I just thought this would be really, really great for him. So I'm probably going to knit just a nice simple hat that can be a little bit slouchy, or he can fold, like double fold the brim. But yeah, I really think this will work for him because it's so soft as well. I think the last one I made him was like BFL, and he was like, it's too itchy. To be fair though, I also made it too tight. I made it to fit my head, not his head. Okay, last up we have this gorgeousness, which will be a hat for me, another hat for me. And it is, why is there a flamingo in my sleeping bag? It is 100% superwash BFL, excuse me, DK weight and 225 metres. And it is black with neon pink and sections where it is undyed. The black has like an undertone of blue, which kind of borders on purple as well a little bit. And it's really, really gorgeous. There's also some flecks of like orange. Yeah, that's really nice. Like I really love this one when I saw it on the stand, but when you look at it more and like you inspect the yarn, like you just see wee bits more. So there's definitely like little pops of orange. Not many, just tiny little ones. And then like I say, like I don't know if the black's been mixed with the pink, but there's definitely hints of purple in there. But no, I really, really, really love this one. I can't wait to knit this one up into a hat. But like I say, I'm definitely in a hat kick right now. And then my last purchase from Quack is this. I hope you can see that okay. It's like, I think it's just one strand. Yeah, it is. It's just one strand where it's a gradient and coiled into this tiny little jar. And it's just really beautiful. I looked for a second one because I was like, that would make great earrings. Because like, I'm wearing my yarn earrings. But they only had one. Nothing to stop me contacting Fiona and ask for another one, mind you. But yeah, I really, really love that. I think there was a different colour. I just loved that orange. I thought that was really gorgeous. Okay, so we've still got a wee bit of time before my camera shuts off. So I passed a stall. There were so many stalls that were new to me, like dyers I'd never heard of, which was great because you can go to so many festivals these days and it's the same dyer at each one. Because obviously dyers have got to make a living. But at Perth this year there were so many dyers I had never heard of, and this was one of them, and it's Buzzinyarns, and they are hand dyed in Scotland. Not 100% sure where in Scotland, but they're from Scotland. And they had lovely colours. Maybe not all my colour palette, but this one really caught my eye. And I think it's just because it's speckly goodness, and it's like got so many colours. So you've got really deep navy blue along with like a really gorgeous turquoise blue. You've got pink, green, yellow, orange, a little bit of purple. A lot of it's undyed, which is really quite nice. Like, I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. Like, if they're going to buy a dyed yarn, they want it fully dyed. But like, if you dig in at the skein, there's always just something more hidden underneath. Like, you would need to really take this out and look at it properly to get the full depth of it. But I fell in love with it, and I just had to have it. So this is the colourway Flecking Crazy. It is a hand-dyed deluxe sock yarn. So it's 85% superwash extra fine merino, 15% nylon, and you get approximately 400 metres. So one more look at it because my camera's going to shut off in about 55 seconds. So there's probably no point me continuing on this segment with a different yarn. So that's their label as well. A little bit cut off by the sticker. But I think this was one of the very few single skeins of 4-ply that I bought that wasn't self-striping. I did make a conscious effort this time to not buy as much single skeins of 4-ply because I just have so many of them. So yeah, that was my purchase from Buzzinyarns. I'm now following them on Instagram because again, I had never heard of them before. And I really, really enjoyed that about Perth this year, as I said. Like, just so many dyers I'd never heard of. Okay, so my camera did cut off. We're fine. Okay, so that was Buzzinyarns. I need to move things once I get to them. Oh, I forgot to show this that I got. It's so yarnylicious with the bag. It's a cat bubble tea! Again, I looked for a second one. This was the only one I could see because I would 100% wear these as earrings. The great thing is, now that I can wear earrings because I've stretched my ears to a point where I can get something through them, is that if I'm knitting on something and I need a marker, I can just pull my earring out and put it as a marker. Because you get to remember, like, these are going through stretches, so they're not going into, like, proper, like, in against my skin. But yeah, I just saw that and it was so stinking cute. So I had to have it. Okay, let's keep going. So, I don't remember for the life of me what stall this was. I will need to refer to the floor plan again. I had to do this when I put up my Instagram post because I wasn't actually sure. Where's the floor plan? Floor plan 41. HotButterYarns. Oh, that makes sense. It is on the pattern. So up the back left hand corner, sorry, back right hand corner, there was this really gorgeous stall. They had a lot of colour work, a lot of skeins of yarn, kind of one on top of the other, a lot of finished products to show designs, colour combinations, that sort of thing. And on one of their mannequins was this really gorgeous tank top. It had little tiny pockets. And it is the Sugar Ring tank top, which is a design by Jackie Bogg. And to get the pattern, you had to buy the kit. And, you know, that was such a hard decision. So here's the pattern. Like, it's a really gorgeous tank top. Like, just so simple. And then it's in a organza bag, so you might not be able to see the colours too clearly. But I've got this, it's a really gorgeous, like, almost dark duck egg blue. It's a darker duck egg blue for sure. So that's really gorgeous. And then it comes with 4 little extras. So this is my colour palette. Don't know why I'm holding my fingers at such a weird angle. So we've got this really gorgeous, like, rustic orange, and then in here it's a bit of it's like a sagey leaf green, followed by an extremely light, no, not extremely light, I'd say a bit of mid-grey, and then on top you've got a really gorgeous deep moss green colour as well. So this is the kit, and they say that this kit does all of the sizes, but obviously the bigger you go, the less you're going to have leftovers, which is fine. And it only goes up to a 50-inch bust, so not super inclusive in my opinion, but I still got it nonetheless because I am a 47 bust. And I'm probably going to knit the 50, and I have been told that I will use up every single bit of yarn. So we'll see. So the kit comes with, I need to weigh it, but apparently the big ball should be 150 grams. And then 330 grams, and then a 10 gram, which was the moss green. So it goes from a 28-inch to a 50-inch. But like I say, in my personal opinion, it could go a bit bigger. It could go bigger. So yeah, I really loved the pattern. It looked great on the mannequin as well. But yeah, I'm just going to have to work out my colour order. I don't know I'm not sure which order I'll put the colours in, but that's another day's problem. So yeah, that was from HotButterYarns, and then I'll go with Marcus's next because one of the last yarn purchases I absolutely adore. Okay, so of course, with Marcus being there, I had to go buy some stuff. We all know how much I love Marcus's yarns and his fibre. Hint hint, because I got some. Actually, you can just see the fluff in the corner. So he had quite a few of his self-stripers, and I had to limit myself. I couldn't go crazy. I'd already gone a little bit crazy with the yarn purchases, and so I really showed some restraint that I didn't know I had. So the first one I got is Super Stripes in the San Junipero? Lampero? Sorry, that's probably being butchered. 75% non-museling superwash merino, 25% nylon, and 400 meters per 100 grams. And this is the gorgeous colorway. So you've got some teal, some neon pink, some black, some purple, and yeah, like it's really, really nice. But these are definitely some of my colors. Yeah, I think that was it. So we got teal, pink, purple, black. So it's a 4-color stripe. But yeah, I really, really love this one. And then I got Deconstructed Peacock. Again, all the same specs. And in this one, you've got... it's not a lime green. It's definitely a more muted, almost bordering on neon pale green. Sorry, I feel like I've got something in the back of my throat. So yeah, sorry. You've got like a almost palish lime green, a dark teal, a sagey mossy green, a purple, and a very dark navy? I'm sometimes not the best at explaining colours, in case you hadn't noticed. But yeah, this one's really, really gorgeous as well. Not normally my colours, I'm not the biggest green person, which is crazy because I grew up being told that because I was a natural redhead, green would really suit me. But I'm not the biggest green person, unless it's like a neon limey green, then I love it. But yeah, this one is the Deconstructed Peacock, which is gorgeous. And then I got 2 braids of this gorgeous pink. Now, you might be sitting there, if you're a regular, thinking, it's not neon pink, so it shouldn't really be up their street, but this one is gorgeous. So this is BFL and Trilobal, which is Trilobal nylon. It's 70% BFL and 30% Trilobal. And because of that, Marcus has said like this could be really good for socks if you wanted it to. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this once I've spun it up and plied it. But I got 2, so I could just spin one aimlessly and then spin the next one and then ply them together. Even though I do love a good a good chain ply. But yeah, this one is really, really gorgeous. You've got just little hints of purple. And then the Trilobal is the really shiny stuff you're seeing. So see this bit here? That's the Trilobal. And it gets everywhere. It's on my floor, it's on my sofa, it's on the yarn that I've purchased. Like, this stuff, it sheds. But it's really nice and it's soft as well. Like, Sometimes you would think with like a synthetic like that it could be quite rough, but it's really not. It's really soft. And it's so shiny. Like you can see this big splodge of it right there. Like you know where it is when you see it. Oh no, I've become unwrapped. There was a lot of fibre on Marcus's stall that I would have just leapt at, and there's one that's still up in his his Etsy store, and I'm just like, right, somebody has to buy that because I can't afford it. Like I spent enough this month. So yeah, I got 2 of these. Okay, so last yarny purchase. Honestly, one of my favourite purchases of the whole day. So Becky of AMOyarns dies alongside her husband. Partner? Boyfriend? Dies alongside her significant other. Sorry, John. I'm Becky. Sorry. I've just assumed. And probably assumed wrong. John can draw, right? And Becky has shared his little sketches, doodles, drawings on her, well, it's really there, because it's the 2 of them, on their Instagram page. And it's all kind of like my childhood. So you've got like Pokemon and stuff like that. And so John took to drawing on a sock blank. And Becky posted a photo of it. And I messaged, was like, I need that. Like, I need that in my life. And the impression I got was that that one wasn't for sale at that point, at least. And she was packing up for Perth, and John was just like, oh, just take it with you. And by the time I managed to get to stop and talk to Becky, it was very close to the end of the day. Like, pretty much probably bang on 4 o'clock. And I just looked at her stall when I saw it, and I was like, well, that is mine. So I got the Slimer sock blank. Like, how cool is that? Like, why would you not want that? I am so shocked that nobody bought this before I got to it. Like, look at that. So it's on the reverse as well. And then you've kind of got a partial Slimer colours on the other 2 quarters of the sock blank. But I mean, like, apparently John's thinking of doing like a spiral one next, and I'm just like, well, that's mine as well. So I am so fascinated to see what other ones they come up with, because these are fantastic. And part of me doesn't want to like unravel it and knit it, but I think like the other part of me is just like, right, these have to be socks, have to be. And it's just going to be so fun to see how they knit up. So yeah, this makes me extremely happy, and like I say, I'm so shocked that nobody bought it before I got to the stall, because like I said, I didn't really get the chance to stop by Becky and actually speak with her until roughly 4 o'clock. So I'm extremely happy nobody bought it, but I'm also extremely surprised nobody bought it. Look at that! Okay, so I have just a couple more things. I stopped by the Journal of Scottish Yarns stall, or you might know it as Yarn, which is a brand new publication that is showcasing Scottish yarns and makers, wool producers, articles involving some histories and the likes, and there's some really gorgeous photography in here. So Susan, who is the editor and the amazing mind behind Yarn, was very kind enough to gift me this when I stopped by her stall, and we had a lovely chat. I can be quite nervous when it comes to talking with people, and I hope that didn't come across too much when I was speaking with her. But I'm really honoured, maybe too strong a word, but I'm really grateful that she gifted me this pattern, this book. And I started reading through it yesterday morning. Like I said at the beginning, if I did say it, I've tried to start recording this about 5 times now. It's been a really long week for me since Perth. Like, I didn't quite hit burnout, but I also was very close to just being worn out. I had almost put my name down for overtime for work, and then I didn't because I was just like, I physically can't. And so this whole week has been spent either sleeping or working, and very little crafting. So I also haven't had the chance to actually sit down and start reading what I'm about to show, including yarn. And I had a really nice time yesterday morning. I had a cup of tea and I just started reading. So I'm currently on the article that is about the tapestries of Scotland. So it is the Great Tapestry of Scotland, and it is currently in Gala Shields. And I'm actually going to look into whether or not I can still attend this exhibition, because it's actually really fascinating. I have already learned quite a lot from this. Like, there's a bit about it, about Paisley and the Paisley pattern. And then even just learning about New Lanark Mill. Like, I love New Lanark Mill. I used to go all the time as a kid. And I haven't been to it recently since I really fell back in love with knitting. And Scott and I keep talking about going, but something always comes back up. So I've learned quite a lot already, but then I had to go out yesterday. I got somewhat forced to go Christmas shopping, and it was Christmas shopping for me. My future mother-in-law was buying my Christmas present, and I had to be present. So I've not had the chance to sit back down and read it, but this will be for tonight. I'm going to pick it back up with a cup of tea and a snack, and I'm going to read through it, because there's some really beautiful articles about, like, the traditional Scottish sheep breeds. There's one about Iolair Wool. There's also one about Border Mill, stitching, loyalty, embroidery, and the Jacobites. And also there are some really gorgeous patterns. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gorgeous patterns in this. And can I also just say, like, as somebody that done photography, some of the photography in this book is stunning. Like, just really beautiful. Let's see if I can find one. I think all the photographers are slightly different, depending on the article. No, John Barnes, that's that one. John Barnes. Maybe the photographers are all the same. I really need to sit down and properly have a real good look at this. Look at some of those photos. Look at the sheepies! So yeah, I've got the first issue of Yarn, and then I also stopped by the Moorit stand, because Moorit were at Perth, and I'm so happy about that. And they had a deal on, so it's £25 per issue, or 2 for £45. So I had to flick through all 3, because I think the 4th one is just about to come out, maybe? Well, this one's Autumn Winter 2022, and it's issue 3. So the 4th one is going to be the next one. they're doing a call for designers for the 5th one, I think. I think that's what I saw. So I got issue 1 and issue 3. So that's autumn winter 2021 and autumn winter 2022. And I chose these ones just purely because of some of the patterns that were in them. I chose the issue 1 for that pattern there. And then, what was the other one? To be honest, I picked them for pretty much nearly all of their patterns. But I really love this one, which is High Wire by Stephanie Earn. I also really love this waistcoat. It's the Kishy by Elaine Alcocer. So that's not the best photo, but that's the husband of the editor. You've then got these 2 photos here, which really show off. So there's quite a lot in the first one that I fell in love with, and then the second one's really got one of the pieces I am dying to work on. So this is one of, like, I fell in love with this, and I've got a photo of it, and I'll insert it here. They had this on display on the stand, and they had a little tag that says, this is crochet or this isn't knitting. It's one of the two. And I just found it so funny that they had to actually put that, because I'm wondering how many knitters stopped by and like, oh, this is gorgeous, and then they found out it was crochet, because it looks like knitting. Where is the one I really, really love? I think it's closer to the back. Oh, there we go. Like, I don't want to say it's a bolero. It's really, really gorgeous, and they've said that you could wear it with the buttons at the bottom or the buttons kind of closer to the top of the neck, and I just think that is stunning. So yeah, if you can crochet, I do highly recommend this publication as well. Alison's husband, sorry, I just spotted the name on the front. But yeah, gorgeous photography as well, like honestly, such good photography. I really am a sucker for good photography. But yeah. So, my thoughts on Perth was... Sorry, I will not put my foot back up. That just jiggled the camera. My thoughts on Perth are all positive. I had a really great time. We had a podcaster meetup on the Saturday. I think it was roughly 2:30. I'll insert a photo of all the podcasters and Eva. And so that was lovely to see some of the other podcasters there, and I was mostly speaking with Mel and Helen, and I got speaking a little bit to Brogan and Kat as well. I missed a couple, like there was one podcaster that was only going to be there on the Sunday and I was only there on the Saturday, so that was a shame I didn't get to meet them. But I had such a good time. I know I've said it twice before now, but there was just so many vendors there that I had not heard of. And that is really, really great. Like, I feel like Eva and the team worked really hard this year to bring new or not unheard of, because they're just new to me. They might not be new to everyone else. But just like a much broader selection of vendors this year. Like, you had some of, you know, the ones that you know a lot, like you've heard a lot of. So Mothie and the Squid was there, Celia McWheely was there, Ellen was there. Obviously, I know and I've heard of Ellen a lot. But there was some of like your usual people there, like Woo Sheeps was there as well. But then there was some people that are fairly new to the scene. So you had the likes of Nervus Fibres, Buzzinyarns, Paw Ply Yarn Company, and many, many more. So it was really, really great. Like, just such a good event. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Part of me wishes I was there the 2 days, because I do still feel like there was some stalls I didn't really get to look around. My anxiety and panic kind of kicked in at 1 or 2 points where I was just like, need to be away from the crowds, need to be away from people. And then I kind of regained, like, my anxiety kind of went away, regained my confidence, went and put my hat on. And then whenever anyone commented my hat, I literally was just like, because like it wobbles. I don't even know if you can really see the full hat in the frame. So yeah, that was fun. Like, I had a blast. I absolutely had a blast. It was worth waking up early for. I think my alarm was set for like 7 or 7:30, and the drive-through was nice. It was quiet. It wasn't too busy either. I know that's obviously got nothing to do with the festival, the drive-through, but I'm really happy with my purchases. I did splurge. I'm not gonna lie, I splurged. But the next event I'm going to is the Hobbycraft event in the ACCC, and then probably the next event after that where I will be buying yarn will be Perth next year. I will need to be watching the pennies though, because I'm saving up for the wedding. So yeah, this almost felt like my big last splurge. And I got 2 sweaters quantities, which is amazing. And then I got 2 DKs for hats, one for me, one for Scott. An iron weight for a hat for me. I got some fibre. There's only, say, like 1 or 2 things that I purchased that I'm like, not quite sure what I'm going to do with that. So the Buzzinyarns. I'm thinking this would be really great as like an additional skein in like a multi-skein project. So like thinking like maybe a Stephen West thing or something. I think that would actually be really good in that. So I didn't go too crazy on the single skeins of 4-ply. I have more single skeins of DK, but they're all kind of intended for a hat, because I'm really enjoying making hats at the moment. Only got 2 bumps of fibre. Thought I might have got more, but my main purchase I got. I'm very happy with that. My main purchase was my Lammermuir Wool. So yeah, I had a great time. I'm not sure how much more I could put into words. I just had a really great time. So if you're thinking about coming to Perth, the dates for the next Perth have been announced. Let me just nip onto Perth's Facebook or their Instagram, because it has been announced, the dates. I think it's that post there. So if you are thinking of coming next year, you will need to look around to get accommodation and stuff, because the next one is on the 9th to the 10th of September 2023. There's some great accommodation in Perth if you need to stay over, or some of the surrounding areas as well. You've got Crieff, which is really beautiful. You will need a car to drive between the two. So yeah, if you are thinking of coming next year, I can't recommend the festival enough. I always have a really great time when I go. The vendors are lovely. Katie of Celia McWheely came up to me at the end and be like, "Why didn't you come up and talk to me?" I was like, "I'm sorry, I got distracted." Also, you weren't at the store when I came by. So I did plan on stopping by to see Celia McWheely at her shop when I am off on annual leave next month. But yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough. Like, this is already an hour long and I haven't even put any of the footage or like photos in. So I might need to make this its own video and then put the footage and the photos in a completely other video, because otherwise it's going to be very, very long. I hope you've enjoyed, but sorry at the same time. But thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, which will be a standard podcast episode, stay safe. Bye!